What is good, everyone? My name is Mark. You found the Weekday Wagers. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful Wednesday. And no, it's not little Marky Model who's bringing his juice and his flavor to the show. You just get the regular Mark. Sorry about that. But you know what? I don't do this alone. And there's so much going on that I want to talk to our guy, Robby Hockey, about. Let's get him on here. Robby, what's going on? How you doing today, sir?
Doing fantastic today. It's been a great Wednesday. We had another good night on my solo plays. The NHL play, A2 Luster Rainin cashes us at plus 230. Also had Shea Langoliers and Brent Rooker. Anytime hits, that cash as well. So not ever going to complain going 2-0 on the site.
Oh, listen, yeah, I'm going to get into that because I think that we have had an incredible run this week at the site, over the weekend as well. But I want to get into that in just a minute. I really want to get your take on what you saw last night in that Panthers-Canes opening game for the Eastern Conference Finals.
Total domination. Now, I thought Florida would win. I think you, me, and DG and everybody else thought Florida would win. They dominated. I mean, from start to finish, that was a beatdown. Now, I'm not counting Carolina out. They were on some rest, and I think maybe next game it'll be a little bit tighter. But if Florida wins the next game and then they have to go back to Florida, oh, boy, y'all could be right. It could be a sweep in that one.
I was shocked because typically at this point in the season, you get that rest versus rust type of deal. But that usually takes place in that first round where that in between the first and second round, I guess is what I'm trying to say, where you have that break where we've seen this year, lots of game sevens, in each round. But for folks who finished their series sooner, there is that waiting period. Does that really hamper a team, or do you think it helps teams because they get a little extra time to get healthy?
It's hard to tell, man. Once you're in the grind, it's kind of like if you like working out. If you're working out every day, you're used to it, you're in the grind. But it seems like if you take 2 or 3 days off, at least for me anyway, it's hard to get back in the swing of it. Even if it's in the morning and afternoon, I think hockey has to be somewhat similar. Wrestlers, for example, they say the worst thing that can happen is injuries because you have all that time off, ring rust, all that kind of thing. I think it's worse. I think you got a team like Florida who's been competing at a high level for a while now. They haven't had a lot of rest. So they're still in that grinded out mode, whereas Carolina has played, like we said yesterday, 2 teams that's maybe not up that upper echelon. So, yeah, I think it's more – I wouldn't want any rest. I think I would rather be on a team where we're going and we're grinding for a while.
Interesting. And do you think that also plays out like tonight we have in the NBA between the Knicks and the Pacers? Do you think that kind of plays out with basketball as well?
Not as much. I just don't think it's such a grind of a sport. You got 2 different sports. I don't think so. I think basketball, and they've both been off for about the same amount of time, correct? The Knicks and the Pacers. I know the Knicks, they finished their series a little earlier, but they've been off around the same amount of time, correct?
So the Pacers finished their series sooner than the Knicks did. The Knicks needed a couple extra games against Boston to close that one out.
That's right. I had them backwards. Yes, I don't think so. I think they've had ample amount of rest. I don't think that's a big deal because they always have their nights anyway where they have that load management throughout the year, whereas in hockey, there's not really a load management. You may see guys doing nothing but cardio, not scoring or anything, but there's not really a load management night in hockey.
And speaking of load management, I got to ask you, you talked about it to open this up about the little heater that we've been on over at justicestatsports.com. Have you noticed any sort of load management or not having enough picks on the site for people to choose from each day?
I see mine and your picks up there a lot. I know there's a couple other cappers, not naming Preston either. They just had a child, so he's excluded. But there is, I guess, another person that does.
Oh, no. And I'm not saying that it's a derogatory. This is not a criticism. I'm just thinking with all the picks that are on that site from everybody, is it fair to say that people have a multitude of different ways to attack games, sports, leagues, player props, size, totals, everything?
I got you. I thought you were referencing a text message from one of our co-hosts on Fridays from the other day.
No,
Yes,
no.
you have a ton of things you can get on the site from WNBA to NHL to NBA. We're already trying to gear up for the NFL. I mean, it's
Yeah.
as you noticed today, there's a ton of NFL breaking news. Yes, a lot of different avenues. I didn't know where you were going with that because we did
Gotcha.
have a text chain this week. So
Gotcha. Well, listen, get on over to justiceatsports.com. Use that little code at the bottom, BTT30. It's going to give you your first 30 days for free. You're going to get AI model projections. MLB, the model projections are hitting at over 74%. There is a cheat code within that model. I am telling you, it is on fire. And if you're a run line, if you like run line favorites, look for large differentials because the run line has hit in 87% of those games for the month of May. It's you can't make it up. We've got the numbers, we got the data to back it up. It is unbelievable. And we're going to give you your first 30 days to try it for free. Risk free. Build your bankroll. Get over there, try the site, get it going. Rob, with that being said, what are your thoughts on tonight's NHL game?
this one, I think, is going to be a little bit more high scoring from both teams. I know Ottinger's been playing well, but as you remember last year, Edmonton handled them in 6 games. So Edmonton could get on them. I think Matthias Ekholm may be available tonight. So that's going to shore up a lot of the defensive woes on Edmonton's side. And Evander Kane has been another guy that if you're looking for player props, who's just been on a heater. I think he has 4 goals and 3 assists in the playoffs so far. It's going to be an interesting game. I think Big Chuck said this morning he likes the over 6. I agree with that. I do think we see a lot of goals tonight.
You know, it's interesting because I know yesterday when we were having this conversation about the last night's game, you had said, you know, here's a game that I really want to watch first to kind of get a feel for how this series is going to go. And I felt so much more confident about last night's game than I do about tonight's game.
Gotcha.
I'm hopeful that we see a lot more offense and that these two teams are truly built for offensive explosions. I just don't know if that's what we're going to get.
It's funny. I'm in the. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm on the East Coast. But the Preds are in the Western Conference, so I know Western Conference teams a little better than I do Eastern Conference teams.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would be another reason why tonight. I'm always looking at Edmonton and Dallas throughout the year just because of the Preds. But yes, I think I have a better feel of this game tonight than I did last night.
Yeah, so I love that we have a little role reversal, you know, with the two series kicking off. Tonight's game is more of a let me try to get a feel for what's happening here. I want to see who's taking shots. I want to see which goaltender Edmonton's putting out. Is it Skinner? Is it Pickard? And is it the Skinner of old where, you know, he just is shut down? Or is it the Skinner that gives up 3 or 4 goals a game? You know,
you never know.
Right. Which is why this is kind of I'm just going to keep an eye on this one. But the other thing that we're going to keep an eye on is our picks. And yes, we have been on a heater. I don't know what's going on with Rob and I, but both of our hits, we hit last night, both of our picks. We'll get to the daily dinger in just 1 second. So if anybody's got their daily dinger for the day, a home run hitter that they like, go ahead, drop it in the chat. We can't wait to get you going. But Rob, what's your pick for today?
So we're going to go to that Dallas-Edmonton game. I'm going with a guy you've probably seen a couple of times. The last couple of games, though, he's let us down. But, you know, Winnipeg, shout out to Mark Scheifele, first off, for playing in that game. That was a total different game the other day between Winnipeg and Dallas. But tonight, new series brings new opportunities. Wyatt Johnson, 1+ point, -115. I'm also taking his anytime goal at +240. Look, he has 6 goals in his last 10 games versus Edmonton. He has a point in 7 of his last 10 home games with 5 goals and 4 assists. This series last year, Edmonton won in 6, but Wyatt Johnson in that series had 3 goals and 2 assists. So it wasn't for lack of trying on Wyatt's end. Edmonton was just the better team. This year, I'm not so sure which one the better team is, honestly. I think both teams have a lot of depth. I think that both teams can actually play their style of hockey. But I'd like Wyatt Johnson tonight. The stats are there. He's great at home. Give me his anytime point at -115 and an anytime goal at +240.
I like it. I like it. In fact, Wyatt Johnson is also one leg of the coaching company, Just a Stat Sports play of the day. We have him going over 1.5 shots on goal, paired with Josh Hart of the New York Knicks to get at least 1-3, and that's a plus 106 play of the day. So a little bonus play for those of you watching Weekday Wagers. I am sticking to, look, Rob, I don't know if anybody has ever, I think I got told this by, was it you or DG? When you're hot, stick with it, ride it out. When it comes to UFL, there's not a better capper out there. I've got it nailed down. When it comes to the WNBA on Weekday Wagers, there's not a better capper around. I got it nailed down. And that's where I'm going back to tonight. We hit Aja Wilson's under 26.5 points last night. Guess what? We're picking on Paige buckets tonight. Buckets. Oh, my goodness. First of all, she hasn't gone over this line. I take that back. She's gone over it once this season, this regular season. Prior to that, she hadn't been over in 3 of the last 4 games, including the preseason. She's averaging just 23 PRA, which is well under this line to begin with. Minnesota ranks in the top 3 defensive rating. They allow the fewest assists per game, and they're holding opposing guards under their PRA line in 6 of the last 7 games. With this being a road spot for Dallas and a tough one at that, it's a matchup that would also kind of lean towards the under. But here's the kicker. The Lynx are 11-point favorites, which means that if this turns into a blowout, Beckers could be watching the fourth quarter from the bench, which means fewer minutes, fewer touches, fewer chances to even get close to this number. I love fading her in this spot here.
So no Paige buckets tonight. Her name's just going to be Beckers. Not going to be buckets tonight.
It could be a few buckets, not a lot. No big bucket. No big buckets.
I got you.
So that's our plays that we're on today. Let's see. Oh, we've come to that favorite part of the show. We like to call the Daily Dinger. Now, funny stat is you're looking at this board that has Shohei Ohtani, Kyle Schwarber, Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, and Matt Olson. I'll give you a chance to kind of think about who you like and why. I went back and looked, and do you know that in all of the times that we've been doing Weekday Wagers, okay, on Coach and Company, there has only been one day where we have not had somebody off of this list go yard.
Interesting. It's a hell of a stat. I didn't know that till just now.
I mean, it was dawned on me this morning. I'm like, how many of these guys have actually hit? Because I know we got one last night. Ohtani, I think, hit one last night.
You know what? The one that missed didn't actually miss because I put Wyatt Langford in the chat. So technically, we didn't because I did add Wyatt Langford in the chat that day.
Okay. All right. Well,
just helping us out a little bit.
Everybody on the graphic, I should say.
There you go.
But yeah, we have been hot on this. Given that list, who do you like and why?
So I've been watching the Philly series, Philly, Colorado, and I've been on Kyle Schwarber the last 2 days. I'm going to go to Bryce Harper tonight at plus 340. You know, like I said, it's been Kyle Schwarber the last 2 days, but Bryce he's been doing his thing. He's clearing his total bases. If you go to justthestatsports.com, I may have a play on that. But Colorado is terrible, terrible. Carson Palmquist in his first game, he allowed 6 hits and 5 ERs. And today he's going to get at least 1 home run on him, and that's going to be by Bryce Harper. Bryce sold a lot of tickets yesterday from what I saw on X. That's a good stat for me because there's going to be a lot of people upset that he hits one today. I'm not going to be upset because I'm tailing it plus 340. That's my daily dinker.
I like it. I like that play a lot. Look, there's nothing wrong with anybody on this list. I think they all have the potential to really go. Schwarber, again, altitude. Harper at altitude. Matt Olson has a history. He's already tagged that pitcher for a home run. I like that spot as well. But I am going out to the West Coast. with LA Dodger Shohei Ohtani. Yes, is it chalky at plus 220? It is. I get it. But look at the form of that swing. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's a swing that even DG admires compared to his college swing. Ohtani's had 8 career at-bats against Corbin Burns, 4 hits, 1 home run. He's seen him like a beach ball. Burns hasn't fooled him once. And tonight, I think, especially given how the Dodgers have played against Arizona this series, and they got to win last night, but it's been a rough home stretch for these Dodgers. And I think that Ohtani realizes he needs to put the team on his shoulders, step it up, crank one out, and again, I'm going to hit another daily dinger. We do have a vote for Matt Olson.
There you go.
From DG, who you will see here Friday with Rob and I on Weekend Wagers, 2:00 Eastern, Coaching Company. Be there.
And tomorrow.
Well, we got Weekday Wagers tomorrow. Oh, yeah, he'll be here tomorrow with you.
Yep.
That's right. I got the day off.
What's that going to feel like for you, having a day off? How's that feel?
It just means I got more stuff I've got to do here around the house. That's all that means. It becomes getting to all the stuff that my wife has asked me to do all week long that I've been like, I'll get to it. And so, yeah, that's all that means. I appreciate it, but that's all that means. So, yes, you can catch us here again tomorrow, 2:00 with Robby and DG. Catch all 3 of us on Friday, 2:00 right here in Coaching Company, where we bring you the Weekend Wagers and our Shoot Your Shot Saloon ticket picks. What are we calling that? Shoot Your Shot? Anyway.
Shoot Your Shot.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for stopping by, checking us out on this wonderful Wednesday. We will see you again tomorrow. Until then, take care and be kind to one another.